Have you ever met someone who felt right, and still it didn't last? Perhaps you remember the moment, the way his presence seemed to fill spaces in you that had been empty for so long, the conversations that flowed like water finding its way home, the feeling that finally someone saw you, not just the surface you, but the depths you rarely showed anyone, and then he pulled away. Or maybe he stayed physically, but his energy shifted, became distant, unreachable. Or perhaps he simply disappeared, leaving you wondering what invisible force pushed him away when everything felt so aligned. You're not alone in this experience. There's a particular kind of pain that comes from attracting men who seem promising at first, men who spark something real in you, only to watch them drift away like ships that never quite reach your shore. You might find yourself in a pattern, meeting someone, feeling the potential, opening your heart just enough, and then watching as they choose someone else, or simply choose to be nowhere at all. Bob Proctor taught us something profound about this dynamic. He said, "You don't attract what you want, you attract what you vibrate." Sit with that for a moment. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you vibrate. What does this mean for the woman who keeps meeting men who never stay? It means that somewhere, beneath her conscious desire for lasting love, there is a frequency being broadcast, a signal that says something different than what her heart believes it's saying. The truth that most relationship advice misses is this. What repels the right man isn't your desire for love. It's not that you want it too much or that you're doing something wrong on the surface. What repels is the energy vibrating behind the desire. The fear dressed as readiness, the urgency masquerading as openness, the protection that looks like availability. Think of yourself as a broadcasting station. Every moment you're sending out signals into the quantum field. These aren't just thoughts or intentions. They're entire energetic signatures made up of your beliefs, your past experiences, your hidden fears, and yes, your deepest desires. But here's what happens. When there are conflicting signals in your broadcast, you create what I call energetic static. Imagine a radio station trying to broadcast on multiple frequencies at once. The music becomes distorted, the message gets lost. The listeners, in this case the men who might write for you, can't quite tune in clearly. They sense something, they're drawn initially, but then the static becomes too much. The unclear signal creates discomfort they can't name, a sense that something isn't quite aligned. This static comes from hidden energies, vibrational fields that remain active without your conscious awareness. They're like background programs running on a computer, using up bandwidth, affecting performance, but invisible unless you know where to look. These hidden energies often develop as protection mechanisms. Perhaps you learned early that love meant loss. Maybe you discovered that being too available meant being taken for granted. Or you found that needing someone meant giving them power to hurt you. So your subconscious, in its infinite wisdom to protect you, created these energetic barriers. They served you once. They kept you safe in situations where you needed protection. But now, these same protective energies are creating a magnetic field with cracks in it. Imagine a beautiful magnet, powerful and attractive, but with hairline fractures throughout its surface. It still attracts, but what it attracts can't quite stick. The connection starts strong, but then finds these weak points, these places where the energy doesn't flow smoothly and naturally begins to pull away. The men who come close enough to feel this fractured field might not even understand why they're pulling back. They might tell themselves stories, the timing isn't right, I'm not ready, she's amazing, but without realizing they're responding to an energetic invitation that says both come closer and not too close simultaneously. This isn't about blame. This isn't about you doing something wrong. This is about recognition, seeing clearly the invisible forces at play so you can begin to shift them. Because here's what Bob Proctor knew. Once you understand the vibration you're emitting, you have the power to change it.
You are not stuck with the patterns of the past. You are not destined to repeat the cycle of almost but not quite connections. The question becomes, what hidden energies might you be carrying? What subconscious programs are running beneath your conscious desire for love? What protective mechanisms that once served you well might now be creating the very distance you long to close? In the next part, we'll explore the 3 specific hidden energies that most commonly repel the kind of man you're truly calling in, the one who stays, who sees you, who chooses you not from need, but from recognition. These aren't character flaws or things to fix about yourself. They're simply energetic patterns that, once seen, can be gently released and replaced with frequencies that align with what your heart truly desires. But for now, I invite you to sit with this question. Perhaps even share your truth in the comments below. What part of your energy might still believe that love isn't safe? Could I be pushing love away without knowing it? This question might feel uncomfortable, even painful to consider. After all, you've likely done so much inner work. You've read the books, done the meditations, perhaps even gone to therapy. You know your worth. You've learned to love yourself. And yet, the pattern continues. Good men come close, feel the initial magnetism, and then something shifts. They pull back, leaving you wondering what invisible wall they hit. Let me share with you 3 hidden energies that create this wall. Energies so subtle that most women never realize they're broadcasting them. These aren't personality flaws or things wrong with you. They're survival strategies that once protected your heart, but now keep it imprisoned. Bob Proctor understood this deeply when he said, "What you emotionally block, you repel." The very mechanisms we use to protect ourselves from pain become the barriers to receiving what we most desire. The first hidden energy, rigid self-sufficiency. I'm fine alone. How many times have you said this? How many times have you needed it to be true? There's a particular energy that develops in women who've learned to rely only on themselves. It starts as strength, beautiful, necessary strength. You learn to pay your own bills, solve your own problems, dry your own tears. You became the heroine of your own story, and this is something to honor. But somewhere along the way, this strength crystallized into something harder. It became a vibrational shield that says, I don't need anyone. And while your conscious mind might be saying, I'm ready for partnership, your energy field is broadcasting something entirely different. I've got this covered. There's no room for you here. Imagine a house with all the doors locked from the inside. You might put welcome signs in the windows. You might even call out that you're ready for visitors. But if every entrance is barred, no one can actually enter. This is what rigid self-sufficiency does to your energy field.
It creates an impenetrable barrier that men can sense but can't name. The right kind of man, the one who wants to contribute, to provide, to be needed in healthy ways, hits this energy and feels unnecessary, redundant, like there's no space for him to add value to your life. He might admire your strength, might even be attracted to it initially, but ultimately he'll seek a woman whose energy says, I'm whole and I have room for you. This isn't about becoming weak or needy. It's about softening the edges of your independence enough to create space for interdependence. It's about letting your energy say, I'm complete and I'm open to what we could create together. The second hidden energy, emotional urgency. I need this to work out soon. Can you feel the tension in that statement? The tightness? This second energy is perhaps the most deceptive because it often disguises itself as focus or clarity about what you want.
You might tell yourself you're just ready for love, that you're clear on your intentions, but underneath there's a frequency of fear. Fear that time is running out, that you're falling behind, that if this one doesn't work, you might miss your chance entirely. This urgency creates a vibrational pressure that men feel the moment they connect with you. It's like trying to grow a flower by pulling on its stem. The very force you apply to make it bloom faster actually damages its natural unfolding. Love has its own timing, its own rhythm, and when we try to force it to move at the pace of our fear, we create an energy that repels rather than attracts. Think about how you feel when someone needs something from you urgently, when you sense that their well-being depends on your response. It creates pressure, doesn't it? A sense of responsibility that feels heavy rather than inviting. This is what emotional urgency does in romantic connections. It turns what could be a dance into a negotiation, what could be exploration into evaluation. The right man might feel this as a subtle sense that he's being interviewed for a role, rather than invited into an experience. He might sense that you're more focused on the outcome, relationship, commitment, security, than the actual process of discovering who you are together. And because masculine energy naturally resists pressure and moves toward freedom, he'll instinctively pull back from this urgent frequency. The third hidden energy, neediness disguised as giving. If
Good enough, he'll choose me. This might be the most painful energy to recognize because it often wears the mask of generosity, accommodation, and love. You give and give, your time, your attention, your understanding. You make yourself available whenever he calls. You adjust your schedule to match his. You become whoever you sense he needs you to be. But here's the vibrational truth. This isn't giving from abundance, it's giving from lack. It's a frequency that says, I'm not enough as I am, so let me earn your love through my actions. And what you're actually broadcasting is the very belief you're trying to disprove, that you're not inherently worthy of being chosen just for being you. This energy attracts a particular dynamic. It draws men who are comfortable receiving without reciprocating, men who enjoy the benefits of your giving without feeling called to match it. Why? Because your vibration is actually saying, I'll accept crumbs and call them a feast. You're energetically agreeing to an unequal exchange before it even begins. The tragedy is that the more you give from this place of hidden neediness, the less valuable your giving becomes. It's like watering a plant with an empty watering can. The gesture is there, but the nourishment isn't. Men can feel when giving comes from wholeness versus when it comes from hoping to receive. And the ones capable of real partnership will instinctively move away from energy that feels like it's trying to purchase their presence. These three energies, rigid self-sufficiency, emotional urgency, and disguised neediness, often work together, creating a complex vibrational pattern that simultaneously attracts and repels. You might draw men in with your initial magnetism, your beauty, your light, but as they get closer and begin to feel these underlying frequencies, something in them pulls back. Not because they don't care, but because the energy itself creates an unsustainable dynamic. Here's what's crucial to understand. True love doesn't respond to effort. It doesn't respond to strategy or perfection or earning. Love responds to coherence, to the alignment between what you say you want and what you're actually vibrating. When your energy field is clear, when these hidden frequencies are dissolved, you become magnetic to the kind of love that chooses you not from need, but from recognition. The question now is not whether you have these energies. Most of us do in some form. The question is whether
You're ready to see them clearly and release them with compassion. Because on the other side of this release is a new way of being in the world, a new frequency that naturally attracts what you've been seeking all along.
Which of these three energies do you recognize in yourself right now? When you clear the static, the right frequency finds you. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a breath that reaches all the way down to your belly. Now imagine yourself standing in a field of pure possibility. The three energies we've explored, the rigid self-sufficiency, the emotional urgency, the disguised neediness. See them as cloaks you've been wearing, heavy cloaks that once protected you from the cold, but now weigh you down in the warmth of this new season. Watch as you gently remove the first cloak, the armor of, "I don't need anyone." Feel how your shoulders drop as its weight lifts. Notice how your chest opens, how breath flows more freely. This isn't about becoming weak. This is about remembering that strength includes the courage to receive, to allow, to be held. As this cloak falls away, your energy field expands. Where there were walls, now there are doorways. Where there was concrete, now there's flowing water. Now release the second cloak, the urgency that grips your heart like a fist. Feel time expand around you. Feel yourself dropping into the eternal now, where everything is already whole, already complete. There's no rush because what's meant for you cannot miss you. There's no deadline on love, because love exists outside of time. As this urgency dissolves, notice how your whole being softens. You become like a flower that opens not because it's forced, but because it's ready, because the sun has called it forth in perfect timing. Finally, let go of the third cloak, the giving that comes from emptiness. Feel yourself filling up from within, like a spring that sources its water from deep underground. You are not a cup that needs filling from outside. You are the spring itself, abundant, overflowing, giving because it's your nature, not because you need something in return. As this cloak falls away, notice how your giving transforms. It becomes a gift rather than a transaction, a blessing rather than a bargain. Now stand in your field free of these heavy garments. Feel the cleanness of your energy, the clarity of your signal. This is who you are beneath the protection, beneath the strategies, beneath the fear. This is your original frequency, the one you came here broadcasting before the world taught you to modulate it for safety. Bob Proctor said, "You are a vibrational broadcasting station, and you can change the signal." Right now, in this moment, you're changing it, not through force or will, but through release, through the simple act of no longer holding what was never yours to carry. From this place of clarity, new truths emerge. They rise up from your depths like bubbles of light, each one a recalibration of your frequency. I no longer confuse strength with self-denial. Feel how this lands in your body. True strength includes the ability to receive support, to share burdens, to let someone else be strong for you sometimes. This isn't weakness. This is the completion of strength. It's full circle. I am magnetic to love that honors me, not love that needs to be earned or convinced or proven worthy of. Love that recognizes you, that sees your essence and says yes not from need, but from joy. You magnetize this by honoring yourself first, by treating yourself with the reverence you seek from another. I release urgency. I return to trust. Trust in what? Trust in the intelligence of life itself. Trust that what's meant for you is already making its way to you. Trust that every experience until now has been preparing you for a love that matches your readiness, not your reaching. Can you feel the difference in these frequencies? Can you sense how they create a completely different magnetic field around you? You're no longer broadcasting mixed signals. You're no longer saying, "Come here," while energetically saying, "Stay away." You're clear. You're coherent. You're ready in a way that has nothing to do with waiting and everything to do with being. Imagine yourself now as a flower in a garden, not straining to be seen, not bending yourself into unnatural shapes to be noticed, simply blooming because it's your nature, being your full self because that's what flowers do. And notice how when a flower truly blooms, when it opens completely to its own nature, it doesn't have to chase the bee finds it, drawn not by effort, but by essence, attracted not by performance, but by truth. This is your new way of being in the world. You are magnetic not because you try to be, but because you stop trying to be anything other than what you are. You attract not by pursuing, but by becoming so fully yourself that what belongs with you can finally recognize you. The right man,
who can meet you in your fullness. He's looking for this frequency. He's not looking for perfection or performance. He's looking for coherence, for a woman whose inner and outer worlds align, for someone who says, "I'm ready for love," and vibrates that readiness in every cell, for a partner who can receive him not from emptiness, but from overflow. This man will be drawn to your clarity like a ship to a lighthouse, not because you're signaling desperately, but because you're simply shining. Your light doesn't demand that ships come to shore. It simply says, "Here is safe harbor, should you choose it." And the ship that's meant for your shore will recognize it as home. From this moment forward, you have a choice. You can return to the old frequencies. They're familiar, they're practiced, they might even feel safer than this new openness. Or you can stay here, in this clean space, in this clear signal. You can practice being the woman who no longer broadcasts static, but instead transmits pure, coherent love. This isn't about perfection. You'll have moments where the old energies resurface. You'll feel the urgency creep in or the walls wanting to rebuild. This is natural. The difference now is awareness. You'll recognize these energies when they arise. You'll see them not as truth, but as old programs running. And you'll have a choice: feed them or release them. Each time you choose release, you strengthen your new frequency. Each time you choose trust over urgency, receiving over defending, wholeness over neediness, you become more magnetic to the love that matches your highest vision. Not the love you think you deserve based on your past, but the love you're capable of creating from this new vibrational stance. The universe is already responding to your shift. The quantum field is reorganizing around your new signal. What you've been seeking is seeking you, but it can only find you at this frequency. Stay here, trust here, be here. And now, as we complete this journey together, I leave you with one final question to carry in your heart. What energy are you finally ready to release so the right love can find you?